all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat, and prove me now. Look what he says, prove me. Hear them say the Lord. He says, prove me that I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing.
Come on.
That there shall not be room enough to receive. I want to talk this morning upon the subject again. You can't beat God.
Amen.
Give it.
Amen.
Let's give the Lord a great big hand.
Hallelujah.
Not one person in this house this morning can beat God giving.
Yes, sir.
And as the song said, no matter how hard
No matter how you try.
you try. And the church said,
Amen.
And amen again. This is God's promise.
Amen.
You will never, ever beat him giving.
Amen.
I've got a witness here.
Amen.
That's the promise. That is a reoccurring theme from Genesis to Revelation. God always does more for us than what we tend to do for him.
All right.
The reoccurring thing, he says, listen, I'll show you clearly that you can't beat God giving. The text says in Proverbs 3 verses 9 through 10, honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruit of all thine increase. That's you. But then watch what God does in verse 10. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine.
Yes, sir.
Proverb writer goes on and says, one man gives freely, yet gains even more. That's God. And another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. Proverbs 11:25, a generous man will prosper, but he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. You are the A part in that verse. God is the B part. When you're generous, God refreshes you and revives you. Luke, Jesus said, 6:38, give. Tap somebody, say, that's you. And watch what God does. He says, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give into your bosom. That's God. And then he went on to say in Paul, as he addressed the Corinthian church, chapter 9, he says, if you give little, you will get little. But whoever plants generously will also reap generously. That's you. But now watch God. When we give generously, the text says God is able to make all grace abound towards you by making sure you have everything you need and more, and plenty left over to give joyfully to others. That's God. I wish I had somebody. I haven't had a witness here. Ezekiel chimed in that 44th chapter, verse 30. He says, listen, and I'm paraphrasing. He says, make sure the people in the storehouse eat, and the Lord will bless your home. Tap somebody and say, you take care of God's house.
Take care of God.
God will take care of it. God, I guess that's it.
Yes, sir.
While you here at church, God is watching your
Hey,
house.
thank you.
I wish I had a witness here. It's not your security alarm system.
Come on, come on.
It's the one who keepeth Israel.
Yes, sir.
That says who never sleeps
Nor slumber.
nor slumbers.
Thank
When you take care of God's house and prioritize His house,
Yes, sir.
God has no problem
Not a problem.
with prioritizing your house.
Man.
You will have a witness. Both riches and honor, 1 Chronicles 29:12. Both riches and honor come from thee, and thou reignest over all. And in thine hand is power and might, and in thine hand it is to make great and give strength unto all. The text says, listen, it's God who does the majority of the giving. Anyway, if you don't believe it, again, 1 Chronicles 29:12 says that He's the one who wakes you up,
Yeah. Yes.
gives you the strength to go to work, gives you the means to make money, and He is the one who raises you up, gives you strength, makes you great in your craft,
Yeah.
and all you have to do is just recognize Him.
Yeah.
I wish I had somebody.
Got somebody. Got
And even
somebody.
right here in our text, bring ye just 10 cents on every dollar. Y'all gonna catch this here.
Come on now.
He says, listen, all I need you to do is 10 cents on every dollar. And watch what the God of heaven does. I will open.
Open up.
Y'all give me that. The windows of heaven.
Windows of heaven.
Over them. Wait a minute, God. You mean to tell me all
All I
I
got to do
gotta do is give a dime on every dollar?
dime on a dollar. Come on, Pastor.
If I'm faithful with that,
Thank you.
if I'm loyal to that, you will open the windows of heaven,
Hallelujah.
pour out a blessing,
Yes, He will.
Thank you,
that there will
Lord.
not be room enough
You have
to
room.
receive it. The math don't make any sense. Have I got a witness?
He already worked it out.
Jesus said, but seek ye first the kingdom of God. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
And then he said, and then he says, all these things
Yes,
shall be added unto you.
Yeah.
And you know, as I began, Doc, as I read these passages, as I read these promises, watch, here is the trend in every single promise of God that has to do with our giving to Him. And every single one, God always does more in the verse than the people in the verse. I wish I had a witness here.
Ain't God good?
God always, here it is, let me rephrase it because you don't seem like you got that one. God always sets the expectation for us in the text, but always exceeds His own expectation for us, toward us. Y'all gonna shout here in just a minute. He always goes out of the way in the text, takes the extra mile if we would take one step. So in comparison to our one step, God goes miles out of the way to see to our welfare. I wish I had somebody. In other words, God never asks us to do more than what He is willing to do in excess for us.
That's right.
I got a witness here. Why? Because the reoccurring theme throughout the curriculum, the reoccurring theme throughout each book and each chapter is that God always does more in the verse than the people in the verse. Why? Because you and your mama and your daddy can never ever beat God.
Never, ever.
No matter how hard You try. Haven't got a witness here. You will never outdo him. Amen. You will never outdo him. You will never do more than him. But what he does ask of us, he expects of us. So in other words, in order to reap the promise, there is a principle that must be practiced. You cannot procure, or you cannot probate, you cannot experience the promise unless you practice the principle. Become of such a mindset that in order to claim the promises of God, there is something in the verse that must be practiced.